This full moon in Scorpio is inspiring you to release negativity, whether that be within your thoughts, in your emotions, and your behaviors. Scorpio is calling you to pick up the damn phone and take accountability and bring about change, okay? So I'm going to put our little Moonology card over here if she stays. Okay. So our first card in the spread the spread itself is from Sam the Cosmic Witch, if you are curious and are looking to replicate this spread in your own time. What emotions are rising to the surface? We have Seven of Pentacles, and the Seven of Pentacles is an energy of frustration. I think maybe we're feeling a little bit like cornered or boxed in and are in need of some sort of change. This is also like reaching for the stars or reaching for support and not necessarily receiving that. And so you could be disappointed, discouraged, let down, all of the above. And also just like the energy of impatience. Like I have been working my bum off to get somewhere and I'm not even seeing results. And it's like, so what am I doing this work for? So we definitely have just like an itchy energy, if that makes sense. So how do these emotions relate to the transformation that the collective is going to be going through? Let's see what we have. We have the Acrobat, or the Hanged One, in reverse. I love this, and it's interesting because it's in the reverse position. Like this is it in upfront, and as you can see, this person is like gripping onto this tree, not willing to let go, in between two starfish, or like in between two different options, kind of feeling a sense of stuck. And I think you're going to use these feelings embodied in the Seven of Pentacles to catapult yourself forward, because it looks like she's like getting ready to launch herself. And I think some of you have just been like asking why, or I don't know, it's almost like half-hearted desires. I think Taurus, yes, is practical, but sometimes that practicality can in fact like give us like, or lead us to give ourselves discounts on our sense of self-worth, just because we could be fearful of like actually having something that like brings us a deep measure of joy. And I also think if this has been you and you're in this energy of stuckness, like you're working and like you're doing everything that you're like, you know, like you think you're supposed to be doing, and yet like you're not seeing the results from your efforts. That in it itself is frustrating. And so you're looking, I think, for some sort of change. How can we like improve so that I am starting to see results from all the work that I've put in? The next question here is, what boundaries does the collective need to better attend to? So let's see what we have here. We have the Ten of Wands. Stop doing so much. I cannot help myself. Like I have bags and bags and bags whenever I leave the house. Like it's it's really hard for me. It's been really hard now for like 6 years. And I think of the Ten of Wands every time I leave my house, because I'm sure, like I know that I am carrying such a heavy load, and in reality, I don't necessarily need that load. Like I'm not going to be using it, but like my brain tells me that like, no, we need to pack it just in case, because if we don't have it, then like We're essentially doomed. And so every step you take, I think that these boundaries are encouraging you with Saturn and Sagittarius to live accordance to your values and really think big picture here. Big picture. What are the repercussions or the implications or the consequences of doing the opposite? Of living life for everybody else. It's not putting up walls. It's giving yourself standards. All right, let's see. We have how can the collective use this information to heal? We have the Scout of Wands. And before I do any deep dives with regards to the meaning behind these, let me just look and see, because I don't use this deck enough, and I want to make sure. I believe this is the Knight of Wands. Oh, I was wrong. See? It's the Page of Wands. And so I think this is also just about like not being afraid to creatively express yourself, not being afraid to take action on this idea just because everybody else told you it was like not worth it. This is learning to beat to the energy, to the sound of your own drum. And also like listening to music, surrounding yourself with sources of inspiration. Like, who is your muse? Now, Scorpio energy, this is like the high point, right? I want you to think about 6 months ago when we had our Scorpio new moon, maybe what was going around. And if you did not like actively manifest or weren't in tune with the lunar cycles, maybe this is a sign that like you should be. There's no harm in it, I promise you, okay? Now, I think it's interesting that we have like 2 slower paced cards in the beginning, and we're ending with 2 fast paced cards. And so this is to say that like, I think things are going to make a pretty quick turnaround in a very short amount of time, or you're going to start seeing like the results relatively soon. The 10 of Wands is also a card about endings, like ending one aspect and like, or ending one chapter and beginning another. And I think you're also like, there's this sense of like getting on yourself for how you perceive yourself to have performed. So like, for example, let's say you were at like a family function and then you left and like, I don't know, you're like thinking about just everything that you said. Maybe you said something wrong, like maybe the other person tuned out or zoned out and you perceived that as like them not being interested in you or in the conversation. And so it's like, let's slow down. Let's slow down. You are working hard to like prove to yourself something, and spirit is like, just wait, like just like, let's be here, let's be present. We need to examine like the root behind like why we're working so hard to like put on a performance, put on a show. So there's intentionality that spirit is essentially wanting you to consider. If you need to consult a professional, by all means do so. Like, if it's going to mean that you get to this destination quicker, like, why wouldn't you? Okay? Why wouldn't you? I think you are typically someone who prefers to either be behind the scenes or are in a position where, like, that's your job. You are behind the scenes. And, like, this is you stepping into your main character energy. You're